so this is what if Deku had the Ultimatrix part 2. Now guys, I'm just gonna jump right into it and let's get started. Now guys, I last left off when Deku went back to the penthouse with his, roommates that are Denki and Jiro, and we did last left off when Bakugo found out or overheard Deku talking about the Ultimatrix and how it was not at work. Now basically, Bakugo is determined to find out what that is on his, Deku's wrist, and maybe if he can get one of his own. Now, guys, since Bakugo has one for all, I'm most likely not gonna really give him a Omnitrix, because I was originally gonna give him the Anti-Trix, because I did that in my original What If Deku had the Omnitrix. Not my original, my reboot, my last Omnitrix What If about Deku. What if Deku had the Omnitrix, and I gave Bakugo the Anti-Trix. But since Bakugo has one for all, he's pretty OP. I'm not gonna really give him, the, well, Anti-Trix or anything like that. So basically, Deku goes to school the next day after waking up and waking all the rest of his, friends or his roommates, Denki and Jiro, up, and pretty much tells them to get dressed. Now, basically, they pretty much get to the, school, go into class, and they sit down. Now, they basically go to class like originally, but basically, all the class is told to, that they're going to the USJ. Now, they go to the USJ, and basically they walk in there. Oh, sorry guys, I messed it up. The second day of UA is, well, the combat training. Everybody gets ready and they get started. Now basically, Deku basically goes to, well, oh sorry guys. Deku goes to UA and pretty much everybody gets ready, getting handed their hero costumes. And Deku's hero costume is basically just kind of like a different version of his original one. Basically, he has the same hero costume that he had in season 1, but the shade of green is darker, and also the sleeves are cut down all the way to the pretty much elbow pads, so the Ultimatrix can be easily accessed. Also, the Omnitrix symbol is stitched on the side or the shoulder of the pretty much, well, suit. So basically, Deku gets into his hero costume and gets started. Now Deku walks up in there and everybody kind of compliments Deku in his hero costume. Well, not everybody, but some people do. And they start with the exam. And then they start with the combat training. Sorry guys. They start and everybody's teamed up like the same in canon. Deku's teamed up with Ochaku and everybody's teamed up with everybody else. Now, basically Deku goes to inside the building with Ochaku, like in canon, and they start, pretty much making a plan. Now, Deku sneaks in there, making a plan, pretty much telling Ochaku to distract, Ida while I take on Bakugo, because Bakugo seems like the biggest, stronger, heavy hitter, so we need to take him out first, so it'll be easier halfway, through. Basically, Ochaku says if he's the strongest, shouldn't we double tag him? Pretty much Deku saying, no, I can take him. Pretty much telling Ochaku to go off and, go on and get, Ida. Now basically she runs off, leaving Deku behind, and Deku gets ready, pretty much walking around, not trying to waste any of his, time. Now basically Deku looks around and sees that he hears the explosion. He looks behind himself and he sees the explosion blast him into a wall. He falls through the wall or gets blasted through the wall, him having a few bruises on his left arm that he, fell into the wall with. But he gets back up, seeing Bakugo jump through the hole that, Deku was thrown or blown into. And pretty much Bakugo looks at him and says, let's finish what we started a couple days ago. Pretty much he throws another explosion at Deku multiple times before Deku can even reach for the Ultimatrix. Him getting thrown into walls, getting blown in the face, and his mask basically ripping off at this point because Deku was wearing his mask in this canon. Deku was wearing his mask, and all his mask parts, or his pretty much mindly bit on his mask, started getting broken off and blown up. He eventually got blown into another wall, getting blasted into that room, and basically saw Bakugo jump through that hole, and Bakugo going for a one-for-all punch towards Deku. Deku dodges it, reaching the Ultimatrix as Bakugo's, fall into the ground after getting dodged by Deku, and Deku transforms into Accelerate, not looking at the Ultimatrix as he transforms, him running in slow motion, or him running in fast, but when Bakugo's in slow motion as he's running, grabbing Bakugo and throwing him back into the main hallway, throwing him into a window, but Bakugo grabbing on the edge of the window, pulling himself back into the building. He looks around, seeing Deku pretty much straight up strike him over and over again, moving at super speeds, basically scratching, stabbing, Bakugo with his claw things, and basically whipping him in the face with his tail every time he runs past. Bakugo gets angry looking around his surroundings, and basically just gets so angry that he just throws explosions everywhere, pretty much narrowly and unpredictably. Now Deku just get hit one time with this one for all charged explosion and gets pushed back a few feet away. Now he uses his chance. Bakugo uses his chance as Deku's off the ground, and since Deku is off the ground, he doesn't have any friction to run away. So Bakugo uses one for all in his legs, running towards Deku, grabbing pretty much Accelerate on the legs and chucking him through another wall. Accelerate gets back up, running away, running in a circle around Bakugo. Bakugo starts losing oxygen, but punches the ground with one throw, making a hole, making them fall down a floor. They start fighting for more and more time when Bakugo uses one for all to make a huge, straight up wind cloud or wind thrust by doing the same tactic like Deku did, doing his flicking move, basically pushing Deku through a wall and making Deku time out. Now, now as Deku's timed out, he sees scratches on his outfit, but just gets back up. He sees pretty much Bakugo coming straight for him, and Bakugo dropkicks Deku with one for all in his legs at full thrust, pretty much kicking Deku through a wall and almost knocking Deku out. Deku starts coughing up blood when Bakugo says to give up. And when Deku declines and says, "I'll never give up to you," pretty much Bakugo charging up the explosion about to end or straight up just blow up Deku. Deku looks at the Omnitrix, and the Omnitrix times and basically transforming into an alien that would save Deku in this situation. And Deku transforms into a new alien, not a Benton alien, but a completely different new alien from a different, trilogy of alien, a different alien movie. Basically, Deku transforms into a Navi. You don't know what a Navi is? It's basically the same alien species that the Avatar was. Pretty much, a Navi is the Avatar, the alien from the Avatar movie. And basically, Deku transforms into that, getting up from the pretty much from the explosion and the ashes after Bakugo through the explosion. Deku grabbing Bakugo by the throat and throwing him through a wall. Now, pretty much he jumps through the wall, seeing that he's a lot more taller and a lot more lankier, but also stronger. When he looks around, he sees his alien form is similar to a human, but looks around, seeing pretty much Bakugo, looking at Deku, being kind of weirded out. Now, Deku is as tall as a norm, pretty much has the same proportions as the main character in the Avatar movie, his avatar, basically. Also, having the natural, pretty much, since the Omnitrix or the Ultimatrix, or at least the Omnitrix's original function is transforms the user into the peak physical form of, the alien species he's transforming into. So, Deku transforms into the peak physical form of an avatar, basically him being incredibly strong, incredibly durable, and also very well enhanced in climbing and also the other abilities. Also having extra senses like seeing in the dark and all sorts of other stuff. Not really seeing in the dark, but other senses like basically being able to hear a lot more and being able to run pretty fast, swim, and also do the whole entire ear and hair thing that Navi can do. Also, he can also, what was it? Deku can also, for his ability, give the Navi extra ability. They basically just have super senses that are just gonna give him those extra abilities because The main character's avatar couldn't see in the dark, so I guess they didn't have that power. But the Navi in this universe have the ability to basically see in any pretty much spectrum of light or any spectrum of sight, and also they can see pretty much in all sorts of forms, and also hear incredibly, like they're on Daredevil levels of senses. So basically, Deku looks around, dodging all attacks from Bakugo. Bakugo being kind of confused because Deku's a bigger target, but also Deku starts dodging more and more. Now Bakugo gets tuckered out a little bit by using One for All to power himself up so he doesn't get too tired, basically jumping on Deku, punching him left and right. Deku starts getting out of the way, grabbing Bakugo and throwing him into walls, basically Deku having more longer range because his arms are longer, and him going back and forth, him throwing Bakugo through the ceiling all the way up until they're about 2 floors under Ida and Ochaku's fight. Deku jumps or climbs through building through floor to floor through the hole he made when he threw Bakugo through them, and Deku arrives where Bakugo's supposed to be. Bakugo pretty much gets behind Deku, throwing it about to throw an explosion, but Deku with his super senses dodges out the way, grabbing a Bakugo and throwing him through a wall. Now, for the Navi's alien form, pretty much what was it? Pretty much alien forms attire or clothing. Basically, it's just like a skin tight white suit that pretty much ends off at the thighs and the shoulders of the pretty much out of the Navi's pretty much. It's basically just like like a white swimsuit. What was it? A wetsuit you use for surfing. It's basically just that, but to the Navi's physical proportions, and also basically it having pretty much it being sleeveless and having a white and black color scheme with the Omnitrix logo right on the shoulder of the Navi's pretty much body. Now basically Deku starts running around, kicking Bakugo into walls and punching him left and right. Deku being kind of pretty much excited for this new alien that's pretty much demolishing Bakugo. And since this alien has a really good durability, he can withstand pretty good amount of explosions from Bakugo's One for All explosions. Now, in this universe, Navi's bones are pretty strong, but in this universe, their bones are literally invincible. So basically, Deku starts throwing Bakugo through walls and more walls, punching him in the face, and pretty much bombarding Bakugo with more punches. Bakugo has enough and uses all of One for All in both arms, shooting an explosion so powerful that it comes as close as well. Comes at clutch with about the same force, or at least 1% of the force of a atom bomb. Now Deku starts being blasted through walls and walls and walls, at least 15 walls, and gets knocked out. Deku looks around, seeing blood, being pretty badly injured. Bakugo also being injured with his arms completely broken, not shattered, but like so broken to a point where they resembles Izuku's cannon, broken arms, but a little bit more brutal. And basically, Deku gets back up, timing out, going back to his human form. His human form just having some scars and cuts on his face and arms. Now, Deku runs up the stairs, running to where Ochaku is, and Ochaku getting so close towards the bomb, but at the last second, Ida grabbing it out of the clutch of, Ochaku. Now Deku runs over to Ida, still timed out, jumping for a last effort on top of Ida, pretty much using the blaster on pretty much stun, pretty much, what was it, using the blaster on lethal, but using the blasters pretty much friction to blast past Chaku, giving Chaku enough force to be pushed towards the bomb in the air, grabbing the bomb and winning. So Deku gets off of Ida, helping up Ida, and pretty much for pretty much the rest of the time, Bakugo goes to the recovery girl, gets patched up pretty quickly, and pretty much Bakugo looks at Deku and them share a pretty, well, very anger stare at each other. Now they brush it off, walking away, and that's how we're gonna leave No, we're gonna leave it off yet. So basically, they walk away out of their pretty much frustration of pretty much them having that huge fight. Now, basically, Deku goes back to the penthouse after getting his suit back up and his his outfit, and pretty much the rest of his group like Denki and Jiro go back to basically well, their penthouse. Before Deku leaves, he bumps into a girl out of the front of UA, bumping into her a pink-haired girl and pretty much saying sorry for that, and her saying it's okay. Deku helps her up and they both share a very intimate look in each other's eyes, but they get pretty much interrupted by Denki saying to hurry up, so we don't miss the bus. Basically, oh no, so we don't miss our ride. Basically, them calling an Uber. Now, basically, Deku says that, what's your name? Making small talk with, well, me Hatsume. Now, me Hatsume says my name is me Hatsume. Pretty much having small talk with Deku, and them pretty much talking a little bit more. When their ride arrives, Deku says, "Can I meet you later?" Pretty much, she gives Deku her number, saying, "You call me whenever you want." Pretty much walking off, her blushing and Deku blushing. Now that was basically just a moment of type of Juliet and Romeo type of stuff, like should have just love at first sight type of thing, and that's what the ship's gonna be. Me Hatsume. Now basically Deku walks off, looking at the numbers, saying I never had a girlfriend before, but I think this will be interesting. Now Deku gets interrupted by Dinky saying you got some moves, don't you? And back in my day, I was a huge player. I had all the girls on my side. Pretty much Jiro saying I was his first girlfriend and his last one. Pretty much Denki getting kind of upset, saying, "You didn't have to expose me like that." They get into the ride and they arrive at their penthouse, going to sleep that night, getting ready for the next day of UA. Now, basically, guys, I'm going to leave it off here. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you guys like and subscribe. And as always, guys, have a blessed day. See you guys later. Bye. Deuces. And as always, guys, request any video you want to see. Bye.